No, we get occasionally errant ones that appear, and they may be here. Now, I think what happens, they come with somebody.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
We've had this before. They've come along and then they've stayed for a while and then disappeared again. And the average time I tend to find that from them appearing and disappearing is 6 weeks.
Oh, wow. So they come, they sort of linger, hang out perhaps, and with the other spirits that are there, and then they just move on. Yeah, that's yeah, interesting.
The other one was remember the ghost photograph I showed you?
Yes. Do you have that? Can you show that to us again?
I will just show you it again. Can you?
This everyone is phenomenal. Wait till you see this. This is amazing. I know when you showed it to us the last time, the ghost in the machine did not allow us to record it.
It's quite low res, but this is, we've got a name, Anna, Scottish soldier, and she died in the grounds of the castle, and she came along with William Wallace's lot.
Wow. Yeah, look at this, everyone. This is so, like, you can see the face. You can see
the face.
The hair. Like, it's...
The lower legs, knees, perfect. Even down to the tartan on the plaid. Now, I'll just zoom in.
It's pretty astounding.
Yeah, that's giving me goosebumps again.
I know. It's so cool. Look at that.
This is low resolution of the face as well.
But still, it's really amazing. What an amazing shot.
Yeah, and that was outside the castle. I saw this, walking towards it, and it was incredible. This was through the archway.
Wow, that is so prominent. Wow, that is really neat. So whereabouts, was that in the courtyard here or outside of the castle?
Outside the castle. If you walked out of the front door and walked about 30 yards down the hill, you'll see the archway. It was through the archway, and I've had in that particular spot. I've had so much paranormal activity outside in that spot. It's unbelievable. Her name is Anna.
Anna. Okay. Now, is this a structure or is it just an archway?
It's an archway that was just part of a wall.
Okay. So the wall is no longer there, but the archway still remains?
The archway is there. There's just part of a wall there. And then it leads into a wood.
Amazing.
Is that what they call the hanging trees?
The hanging trees, the hanging trees, if you were facing the wood, where I took that photograph, the hanging trees are right behind me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So do you think that perhaps she's part of, as you said, like William Wallace's people that came in? What was there at that time? Was the archway there then?
The archway on the site originally was a monastery. And right next to that archway, there's some older stonework that would have certainly been there then.
Okay, wow.
Because there was the monastery manor house on the site. It would have been called Chillingham back in those days, and became Chillingham later. The old name for it, I believe, is Keofell, which goes back a long time.
Wow, so interesting.
But that encounter was amazing. It wasn't taken on I've moved it across to the phone, but it was taken on a DSLR camera, and it was there. It was seen, and it's one of the two best ghost images I've ever come across.
It's pretty amazing. It's really clear, like fantastic. As I had mentioned previously on another show we had done too, we have a great deal of Scottish influx where in the region where we live, and my family are the Rosses and the Stewarts. You don't get much more Scottish than that.
No.
No. And we originally came to Nova Scotia, and then my grandfather came to Ontario for work. But I know that in our area where we are, we have Cayuga and a few different spots, but there's a house called Ruthven, and we did get some really amazing shots, very similar to that in the family cemetery of what we believe were children. Because as on the previous show, and we had mentioned on the show that we lost the previous show Richard was on, that a lot of the children had died in the family during the Spanish influenza in the, sort of early part of 1914, misty sort of small children. But that one is really, like, the detail is phenomenal in it. So, like, kudos to getting that. I mean, how often are we able to capture those things, right? It's most often that even we don't see them, right? And sometimes these devices are able to pick these things up and assist us, but fascinating. I can't wait. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about the castle that we haven't discussed?
The other one, while we're on the talking about the outside of the castle, how about this one? This is going to give you all goosebumps. Halloween last year, that spot where that photograph was taken, and that photograph was taken a lot of years ago. We were down there close to midnight and doing some recording. And I says, "Oh, look, I'll just check something out with the rods." I went, "Oh, there's something here. There's something happening." So I got my PSB7 out and switched it on. And as soon as I switched it on, lady's voice, who I think was Anna, just went, "Stop."
Wow.
Okay, then. Why would you like us to stop? And how about this one? Being in the woods at night, pitch dark. And she says, "The others?" Right, okay. What do the others? What others? What do the others want? And she basically turned around and said, "Normality."
Oh, wow, that's a strange word to use. I mean, in terms of, you would really have to stop and ponder what does that mean? Perhaps is the spirit world still in that upheaval from the time of William Wallace? Is it?
I don't know, but just down the other side of that archway, Nikki from the castle, who we were out maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was quite light, and we'd been having a wander past the hanging trees, etc. And I switched it on just outside of the other side of the arch, and Nikki asked, is there anybody around? And out of the PSB7, excuse me, wasn't a word. The response was, "There's loads of us." So,
oh, wow! But
wow!
It's not surprising though, considering everything that's happened around the castle itself and the skirmishes and all of those things that have gone on. I mean, certainly people have died in and around the area, and so I'm always so fascinated when the other side can let us just in for a minute, just to give us a glimpse into the possibilities that are out there.
Indeed. I mean, at night time, if you approach the castle, sometimes they have, it's lit by flaming torches outside and around the courtyard.
I love this place.
and when you approach it, it's like, wow, you could be walking up to this castle in the mid-1300s when it's like that.
And that's really what, for me, I say, like, blending all of my background, my archaeology, and all of the things that I do. When I step onto a site, it doesn't matter that it's 1,000 years old or 200 years old or 50 years old. I'm always trying to envision what it was like at the time when it was first constructed. I want to know, what was the topography? What was the community like? Was there a community around? Where did they get the workers to build this? And where did they house them when they were when they were building this, magnificent structure. I mean, where did people live? So there's all of these things. And of course, we really take life for granted, even in the time of the pandemic. I mean, we're so lucky that we have modern medicine and we have the ability to, for the most part, stave off what, at this time period, you couldn't. Right. So when you think about things like the Black Death and cholera and typhus and all of these, these things that could just come through and wipe out entire communities in a week or a day or a month or, but I'm always so interested in the kind of everyday that happened, like all the workers. How many people died constructing this castle, I wonder? Like fell or were injured or, things like that. And it sounds a bit morbid and creepy. And it's like, why would you think about that? But all of that energy just goes back into the building. Right? And that always fascinates me. I tend to live on the darker side of life. So, those things just come to mind. It's just, I'm fascinated by it because I think people don't realize how difficult life was at that time. That, to build this building alone would have taken years and great effort by many people.
When you are actually at the castle and you're standing in that courtyard and you look around at the gigantic pieces of sandstone that are used in the construction, it's massively built. Mm-hmm. And you look at the height of it, you think that would have taken a lot of men, a long time, and it would have used, I mean, they didn't have anything mechanical really. The main
pulleys and levers, and some scaffold systems, but by today's standards, pretty terrifying.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, there's this spirit that comes through from time to time, and his name is Simon, and he met his end whilst building the front face of the building, and in the around about 1600, and he fell off a ladder.
Yeah, and that's again that it's really just those accidents that happen, right? Day-to-day life for Simon, coming to the job site and doing his job, and unfortunately circumstances had it that they he gets to stay at the castle forever.
Yes,
so interesting.
Yes, it's an absolutely amazing place. As I say, beautiful in the daytime. It's wonderful. The gardens, grounds, the whole area. It's lovely. At night, it puts on this other cloak.
I know. It's just I can see it in just my mind's eye, and I know that that's not doing it justice. So I can't wait to be able to book and to come out and to stay and to be able to experience it. And how lucky are you that you have this amazing side gig outside of the radio station that you get to, spend your time in this building.
This, as I've said before, this is the holy grail of paranormal investigation sites.
Amazing.
To my mind, it's ever changing. People come from all over the world to experience this, and you need to experience Chillingham. It's some days it can be quieter than others, yes, but it's like a football match. You don't know what the outcome's going to be of an investigation until the final whistle sort of goes.
And that's a fun thing.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. But Chillingham gets hold of people. They come time and time and time again because there's nowhere else like it.